Uh, Good evening, Hotep. This is Dr. Linda Karim, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. The topic for 2017 is going to continue to inform you on the things that our community is faced with. The family, the individual, is the smallest unit in society. And it's that small unit that makes up our community, that global community that has a population in the billions. And so we're just not individuals separated, individualized, unaware of the other beings that is present in our global community. We are a unit of one, but we're not alone. We are all one. We are one. We communicate with each other in many ways, but the mind is like water. And when the mind is like water, it flows. And everyone is using the same beautiful cosmic energy. That energy is a sea of energy that's always available for us. And so we are utilizing the formless energy in the form of oxygen, electromagnetic energy, in the minute water particles that make up our atmosphere, the dense water quality that makes up our rivers and oceans and streams. That density concept is infinite. And I say that it's infinite because I'm going to ask you the primordial question. How old is the earth? Billions of years. It has no beginning date. And what is its nature? Its nature is consolidation, unity, stability, strength, power, dependability. Something you can rest upon, something that you can be sure of. That's earth. Something that grows your food, that stabilizes plants. And I asked the primordial question, what is and how old is water? And the answer is, nobody knows. Not even the wisest person. We can go left brain and say that it's H2O, but it really does not describe its cosmic content and the force that created it. But it is true to itself, and itself is wet. It is true to itself that it flows. It's true to itself that it takes on whatever vessel it's placed in. And it is true to itself that it has an infinite capability of storing information. So how old is water? It's very, very old. But it is also very, very new and refreshing and full of vitality, energy, and healing capabilities. Now I ask you the primordial question, how old is fire? No one knows the beginning date, but we do know this. It is true to itself, and it is definitely hot, and is all-consuming. And how old is the fire? Fire is ancient. Is how old is the sun? Is a question that rivets your mind to begin to think about these powers, this energy that's all around us, and it's being controlled by an infinite intelligence, a creative power that cannot be measured. And I ask you the primordial question of how old is air? No one can ever put their finger on how ancient air is. But on what happens in North America also has an effect in China. And what happens in China through the atmosphere, waves of energy is exchanged on a global level. And so this is something that we don't even have to think about. We don't have to think about whether or not we're going to have air to breathe. However, rest assured that it's true to its nature, and it is true to itself. I asked the primordial question of, and I like asking questions, how ancient is space? Of course, our whole body and all objects are filled with space. And so, if you could measure the space within the body, you would be surprised that it is made up of more space than cellular content. Where am I going with this? Is that we are the families of this planet, primarily brought together from a very special place, a very small town called the womb. And in that small town called the womb, beings are coming into this world. The beings that come into this world, into families, have traditions and values. Those values are tried and true. They come from millions of years of experimentation to see what works and what does not work. Family unity is very, very important. But around what key elements do we find families gathering together? And that's through natural foods. And when I say natural foods, foods that are non-hybrid and not genetically modified products. And the person who buys that food and makes those food choices must have the knowledge in order to make sure that the family is fed properly. Now we know that before our temple is made, there are always plans. The great architect of the universe put together a temple of pure knowledge first. Produced the food body, nature's body. The Chinese call it the Po, and Po comes from nature, the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the space. So our food, our body, and nature are one. Am I in harmony? Are we in harmony with nature, and are we in harmony with ourselves? The flesh of our body is the same as the flesh of a winter squash. The bodily fluids are the same as coconut. In fact, coconut is used as a blood transfusion, for those people that are in a crisis or just need a great pick-me-up. The heart of an artichoke is the same as our heart, but the artichoke is used for food for the liver. Now, someone said, Thomas Edison said, that the doctor of the future will no longer treat the human body with drugs, but rather cure and prevent disease with nutrition. Isn't that a beautiful heart? And so you have a great diagram of what we need in order to be in harmony with nature and in harmony with ourselves. When there is a biological dysfunction, it's because the body does not recognize, and the body is ancient. No one knows the beginning date or the expiration date of the body because it is infinite. And that's why we started first with how old is earth, water, fire, air, and the unformed substance. We know that these are the building blocks of creation, and we need to understand how it functions, how it performs its true nature. Your body is a truth machine. And I've heard that a lot of people can be tricked into eating foods that's not good for them, but not for long. The body cannot be tricked, especially if the body is alkaline. If the body is alkaline, the mind is alkaline, and you cannot trick or manipulate or seduce or control anyone with an alkaline mind, body, and spirit. No bacteria, no fungus, no mold can live in an alkaline environment. So we are the same as a kidney bean. The kidney bean is the same as our kidneys. We are one with creation. The leaves on a tree is just like, is the same as our lungs. Living in harmony with nature, or living holistically on the best foods, fruit and vegetables, nuts and grains, sun-filled, delicious food. So when humanity awakened on this planet, humanity found themselves in a garden. The garden is the foundation for health. That means that the food that we eat becomes a part of our being. And the body recognizes the natural foods, and the body knows what to do with the natural foods. If that food has been processed, then that food is not recognized in the body as something that is nutritious, and therefore it stores itself. The body stores it in the form of fat because it doesn't know what to do with it. It cannot process it. It's like information that you get that you can't even process it because you don't have a vocabulary developed well enough, or your communication skills are not hewn or enough so that you can understand what other people are saying. Processing new ideas and information is just like the body processing natural food. If a concept or an idea is based on fantasy, an alkaline brain, a whole brain, can begin to throw it out. This information is not useful. I cannot do anything with it. I'll store it. And many times there are side effects of that comes from phantom, very vague feelings of anxiety because you have information that you haven't been able to process. So how do you identify that? You identify it as being a non-functional cognizant disorder. Non-functional because you don't know its function. You may know your function, but you may not know the function of misinformation, how you're being manipulated and misdirected away from your true self into an externally based self-image. The real processor is on the inside. That's why we always refer to Amun Ra in the Kemetic tradition as the hidden God. It's the one that is in your soul that you need to consult on a regular basis, on a daily basis, that will help you in processing loads of information that's coming to you from advertising, from political views. And so you want to be able to identify who's talking. There are two conversations going on this planet. One is the conversation based on the mathematics of truth, and then you have the mathematics or the non-mathematics of tricks and lies or manipulation. And so there are two dialogues going on within us. Are we being truthful to ourselves? Are we being truthful to our ancestors? Are we being truthful to our families that need our guidance, especially in the elders? How do you become one with nature? The directives are one: earth, water, fire, air, space. And for billions of years, our foods on this planet have been able to reproduce themselves for billions of years without anybody's help. Over 920 billion species of plants on this planet have been reproducing themselves for billions of years without any interference. Nature has been able to create a global dance of producing foods for medicine, for healing, for revitalization, for energy and power. And that's what we need. High octane food for the supreme being, for our whole brain function. If you had a brand new Mercedes, would you put that 10% ethanol gas in the tank? Or would you put the high octane fuel in there? The same thing goes for your body. And what applies to the body in certain global systems where the mind and body are treated as one, as above, so below, then we just look at the comparative analysis of thoughts are seeds of reality, and the same laws that govern nature are the same laws that govern the mind, spirit, and the body. Mind over matter. It's always been mind over matter. It's never been matter over mind. So you have an earthly kingdom. And that word kingdom is related to energy and chi. Energy and chi. And there is a synchronization of brain processes that is able to meet the natural context in a center in the body so that the corresponding mental and the physical actually blend. And when they blend, then they have a unique creation. So we're looking at original love. If we can look at original being indigenous to this planet, indigenous meaning auto-chichen, that means those who make up the human family descended or condensed from a heavenly realm. So actually we're heavenly beings. But the original love is the original law of the universe. It's global and it's universal. universal meaning one truth. The truth of the matter is, we were given a family, and that is the first creation, in a place called Eden, in a garden paradise. And we wonder, how does creation operate? It is pure love / pure law. Laws and principles and physics that govern this universe. And it looks like everything grows exponentially when it's filled with love, pure love, and gratitude. We function on the Creator's divine love because He's definitely an excellent planner. And that's why we call this place that we live a planet, because everything has been planned out. Planned in and planned out. So the question is tonight on why natural foods. The reason why we use natural foods is because they're digestible. When we choose foods that are natural, with no insecticides, no GMOs, we have begun to operate within the framework of a natural lifestyle. We therefore become friendlier. It stabilizes the health of all family members, friends, and community. Now, what happens when someone is not feeling well in the family? We become upset. And when we become upset, we're not really looking at why are they feeling cranky. And here we have, this is a great shot. Bad food creates family problems. Bad food that cannot be digested causes confusion, toxic emotions, what we call non-cognizant concept disorder. No matter how many workshops or how much pleading and begging is done, there are people who are driven to overeat day in, day out. They're not processing. They can't process processed foods manufactured in a factory. So you can't make sense out of a non-nutritious, malnutrition mind. The mind is hungry. Your child, your daughter, your husband, they can't concentrate because they're hungry. They reach for quick fixes. They reach for drinks with aspartame in it. That's rat poison. It's a sweetener. It's sweet. Yes, it's sweet. God knows it's sweet. But it's poison. Your monosodium glutamate, it makes Chinese food taste good, but it's based on emotional sensationalism. advertising. Somebody has moved into your brain and has taken over. And so you don't have a whole brain, you have a hybrid brain. And when you begin to whine and yearn and crave for chips, you're thinking you're eating high on the food chain. You're not eating high on the food chain. It's a non-food. It's not even food. Your immune system is shut down. And trust me, when it's shut down, especially if you drink that soda with 16 tablespoons of pure white cane sugar. Did you know cane sugar was the drug of the Renaissance? That's why they call it cane. Because it's so addictive. Your brain shuts off. You will suffer from non-cognizant, non-functional disorders because the brain shuts down. That's why you can't do the math, can't do the science, can't figure out what your time management schedule looks like. The brain is hungry and unstable. How many times have parents who call themselves doing great things by providing snacks with their hard-earned money and take no regard as to them poisoning? It's called auto-intoxication. Auto-intoxication. Yeah, it makes you feel good because you have a big bag of chips or a big bag of French fries. But it's pure sugar. You're feeling full, eating cheaply. Guess what else you're doing? You're praying over it. If you had a big bowl of arsenic and you prayed over it, is it going to change the content? I'm asking you. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure that out. Can you help me? You pray over those chitlins. Is that going to kill that parasite? That trichine worm? Is it going to kill it? It might increase because you didn't put the holy power on it. It'll become more aggressive. It'll burrow itself into your muscle tissue. It will begin to pull on the nervous system. Now, you can eat chicken, and the chicken parasites are excreted out of the body through the feces. You can eat beef, and beef parasites will be secreted out of the body through the feces. Or it can come out through the pores of your skin and burn the skin. Some people have skin like a chicken. The parasites are crawling out and you have these patches and you're putting lotion on the patches. And then you're putting that sodium laurate, which is a nerve chemical that damages your nerves, that you find in oil of Olay or Irish Spring, thinking you're smelling good, but it's not killing those parasites, you see. But the pork parasite burrows itself into the muscle tissue and sets up housekeeping inside of you. And then they begin to multiply exponentially. They go from the intestines to the muscle tissue to the brain. They begin to eat you. Then, when they take over, let me tell you what they do when they take over. When they take charge of your pineal gland, of your brain function, your hippocampus, your frontal lobe, your master gland of the body, and they have you going to the liquor store. It's not you. You say, I can't break the habit. I can't break it. It's the parasites in you. It's the yeast that come from the sugar. Candida. Leucorrhea. And you're not getting smaller, you're getting bigger and bigger. You're paying more for clothes. Deodorant can't help you because you're secreting toxins. You don't even have good skin anymore. You just have patches of dry yeast growth all over the body. And then you want to hug somebody. You see what I mean? Non-cognizant concept disorder. And so you may have money, but you also need knowledge in order to improve the quality of life. And you might do well for 10, 15 years, because that's how long it takes for disease to set in. You get a chance every day to change. You get an opportunity to make it better, to do it right this time. But the neocortex is a part of the brain where ideas originate. And if you don't have the right amino acid base, your brain can't do the phenomenal things that it was designed to do. Your genius is gone. You become an emotionally motivated person, driven to make purchases, more purchases of burgers, fries, chips, soda. In Chicago, they call it pop, beer, alcohol, all of these things. Bad food creates family problems, health problems in the family. Mental health problems can be avoided when the scientists in the laboratory, I mean the kitchen, is another word for a scientific laboratory, where health is created for the family. The pharmacy of the creation is in the kitchen. It's never been anywhere else. I want to know, when did indigenous people started going to non-indigenous people for healing, for medicine? I want to know. That'd be a good question for anybody who wants to call in and answer that question for me, because I'm confused. Not really, but that's a good question. So let's look at this, because I'm really interested in this diagram. Every organ has a mate. All right. So the heart and the small intestines work as your fire energy. Actually, the heart and the small intestines work together and begin the process of digesting food. But if you have anger issues, digestion issues, inflammation issues, if you're emotional and hysterical. This is an indicator that the person is not well, not feeling well. Do not hate your family member. They're not feeling well. It's our responsibility to show you this diagram so you don't imitate that person when they are exhibiting a imbalance between the heart and the small intestines. They can't digest something. Same thing is a non-functional cognizant disorder. It's the same thing. It's that they just can't digest something. Something has happened. And injustice was done. Many times things happen in the community, and there's no way in the world that we can identify why a family member has GERD besides being dehydrated. But we're talking about imbalance, a physiological imbalance that first has its origin in a mental imbalance. A whole brain doesn't act like this. A well-fed, nutritious heart beats naturally, smoothly, and is very peaceful. And here you have hysteria. Hysteria. That means uncontrollable anger and aggression. Uncontrollable. And we need to become so clinical that we can say, okay, you're not feeling well. Before things escalate. And then you have to rush somebody to a stranger who doesn't know your family member, nothing about them. What are their challenges? What have they been working on and they need encouragement? So just let's look at the liver. All your angry thoughts are stored in the liver. I ask you one question. How many times can you shoot a firecracker? You got one shot. So you're going to go all day being angry at everything. You won't have anything to think with. You've dissipated your resources. When the liver has an imbalance, you're going to be angry. This is science. This is not Lord have mercy, Jesus. This is science. Gallbladder, a dysfunctional gallbladder, you're going to find that person depressed. Normal people aren't depressed. Happy people are healthy people. Balanced. They get rid of their anger, rid of the depression. And so there's an imbalance. And in Chinese medicine, it's called wood. Okay, so you look at the stomach, pancreas, plexus. Someone who's very sentimental, want to have things their way, want the sweet things in life, just want to splurge money. There you have a stomach, pancreas imbalance. They walk around with a can of soda that they buy 24 cans for 99 cents. But they don't lose, you can't even get them to turn that can loose. You see, this is science. And there are parents who give their children ginger ale. There's nothing wrong with the ginger. Make your own ginger ale. Scientists in the laboratory. Either there are two conversations in the universe. One is the mathematics of truth. It adds up. Input is equal to output. Put in high octane fuel. Get the optimum results. Get brain power. Get your genius on, your talents, your skills, and everything that you dream of begin to manifest through the earth, water, fire, air, and the space. So right there in your kitchen are all of the catalysts, all of the ingredients, if you know that, if you use the right ones, that's going to promote health and wellness and a happy, healthy family. You don't have a family that is always arguing and selfish. Exploit family money instead of building family businesses. So you see how this imbalance, it's nobody in your body but you. There's no arthritis in your body. High blood pressure in your body. Those are all mental states first. So imbalanced. It's a wonder if you can walk down the street, find your keys, put your clothes on, take a proper bath. We're the smallest unit. But that small unit, that atomic energy, can create waves of love, joy, happiness, and peace if it was healthy. Clean and healthy. Clean and healthy food. So we're going to look at fear-based behaviors. Fear-based behaviors. The kidneys store and bladder store all your fear thoughts. All of your fear thoughts. You think they go somewhere? Yeah, they do. They go right into your body. From your mind into your body. You got to get the thought process correct. This is mathematics. This is not religion. This is not the heavenly gates opening up. This is cause and effect. So you don't have, you have a husband, you got to have a wife because it's a natural inclination for men and women to get together. Okay? So when they get together, like the kidney and the bladder, and they have a fear attack, what are we going to do? Well, one thing we know, that the universe is dependable. It's based on cause and effect. Input is equal to output. Let us have a different conversation about how strong and powerful we are and come out of the fear-based paradigm. The mathematics of fear is irrational. Very irrational. Okay, so the kidneys purify the bloodstream. Okay. The bladder receives all those old thoughts, those old girlfriends, those, what you did in 1999, all those old concepts that don't work interfere with bladder function. So you're pissed off. Which a disease called urinesis, where you can't hold your bladder. Where you get up in the middle of the night and you urinate 3 or 4 times. So you have to neutralize those fearful thoughts. There's nothing to fear. Those are false expressions appearing real, created by a phantom in your imagination. There's nothing but earth, water, fire, and air as a backdrop of creation, and you can create a beautiful life. So the next one is metal lungs, being melancholy, sentimental, what we used to do. The good old days, they don't exist. Time is infinite. And so we want to have balance, and we want to have courage in the heart, stamina in the liver, strength in the kidneys, a power to understand and digest things and have the appropriate response. These organs need to be balanced. You and nature are one. I am in harmony with nature. I am not here to damage my organs through deadly emotions. This is very important. So family life is essential in whoever the caregiver is, whoever is in charge of that kitchen. Either you're doing a great job, and I congratulate you that all your family members are safe and secure, safe, eating good, clean food, because it's about the nutrition of the mind, whole brain. You see, a person who is healthy is optimistic. A person who is healthy is creative. A person who is healthy is patient, kind, and understanding. A person, per means by, and son means sound. Language and vocabulary expresses the mathematics of truth and well-being. I am a divine being. I am created in the image and likeness of a piece that cannot be disturbed. That's an alkaline brain. I want what you want. I want the same thing you want. I want peace on this earth. But peace starts with a thought. I am the thinker, thinking the thought, making the thing, using the earth, water, fire, air, and the unformed substance. So thoughts make atoms, atoms make molecules, molecules make proteins, proteins make flesh, makes conditions, makes prosperity, makes a divine community based on love, joy, happiness, health, and peace, and an infrastructure of a good business community where services are rendered and everybody's safe and secure. On the streets of your mind, in your homes, everybody is safe and secure. So a man is known to be territorial, and he's concerned about his family's safety and well-being. And a woman, his divine mate, does everything she can to complement him, because he cannot go to work if he's sick, if he's disturbed. Children can't see their future. How can you plan 500 years, 1,000 years in the future? Like a lot of Asian communities are making plans for 1,000 years in the future because their mind is strong like that. They know the law. We'll come and go, but we'll come back right to our families and create a better place for us to live in harmony and peace. But it begins with the individual, the one that cannot be divided. We cannot be divided. We are one. We are one being. We have billions of faces, but we are definitely one family. Our origins, we know where they are, in a little small place called the womb, where we were safe and secure. And now we're in another womb. We need to get the balance right, bring our families together in love and harmony. Reach out, love your family, reach out, embrace them mentally, physically, and spiritually, and so they'll stay on the right path, the indigenous path of the cosmic beings of the universe. See you next week.